The Lincoln-Kennedy parallels. Alright, first up, we have what I call the presidential glitch in the matrix. You've probably heard bits and pieces of this, but trust me, the full list is absolutely bonkers. I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Both presidents were elected to Congress exactly 100 years apart. Lincoln in 1846, Kennedy in 1946. Already weird, right? But wait, both were elected president exactly 100 years apart. Lincoln in 1860. Kennedy in 1960. Both were shot in the head on a Friday in the presence of their wives. Both were killed by assassins who were known by 3 names with 15 letters: John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald. And here's where it gets creepy. Lincoln was shot in Ford's theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln made by Ford. I'm not making this up. Their successors were both named Johnson, Andrew Johnson and Lyndon B. Johnson. Born exactly 100 years apart. Andrew in 1808, Lyndon in 1908. But we're not done. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and ran to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and ran to a theater. Lincoln's secretary, whose name was Kennedy, told him not to go to the theater that night. Kennedy's secretary, whose name was actually Lincoln, warned him not to go to Dallas. At this point, you're either getting chills or you think I'm lying. I promise you, every single one of these is a documented fact. Oh, and one more thing. Both Booth and Oswald were killed before their trials. Coincidence? The cursed Hope Diamond. Now let's talk about a rock, but not just any rock. A rock that might actually be cursed. The Hope Diamond. This thing has a body count that would make a horror movie jealous. Here's the coincidence that nobody talks about. Almost every single owner of this diamond either went bankrupt, insane, or died under mysterious circumstances. And I'm not exaggerating. The first recorded owner was a French merchant named Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, who allegedly stole it from a Hindu statue in India in the 1600s. According to legend, he was torn apart by wild dogs in Russia. Fun start, right? Then, it was owned by King Louis XIV of France. He died of gangrene. His great-great-grandson, Louis XVI, and his wife Marie Antoinette owned it next. We all know how that ended. Guillotine. It was then owned by a wealthy Dutchman who gave it to his son. The son stole it, and the father died of grief. The son committed suicide. Turkish Sultan Abdul Hamid II owned it, then was overthrown in a revolution. American socialite Evelyn Walsh McLean bought it in 1911. Her son died in a car accident at age 9. Her daughter overdosed on sleeping pills at 25. Her husband left her for another woman and died in a mental institution. She died broke and alone. Now here's the kicker. The Hope Diamond is currently sitting in the Smithsonian Museum. The guy who delivered it there? Mail carrier James Todd. Shortly after delivery, he was involved in a truck accident that crushed his leg, his house caught fire, and his dog died. Are we seeing a pattern here? Because I sure am, and it's terrifying. The twin boys from Ohio. Okay, this next one is gonna make you believe in parallel universes or something. In Ohio in 1940, 2 identical twin boys were separated at birth and adopted by different families. They didn't know each other existed. Both families, without knowing about the other twin, named their son James. Already strange. Both boys grew up and married women named Linda. Both got divorced. Both remarried women are named Betty. Both named their first sons James Allen. Well, one spelled it Allen, but come on. Both worked part-time as deputy sheriffs. Both drove Chevrolets. Both had dogs named Toy. I repeat, both had dogs named Toy. They both vacationed at the same beach in Florida, probably at the same time, and never met. They both suffered from the same type of headache syndrome starting at age 18. Both bit their nails. Both enjoyed woodworking in their garages. These twins, known as the Jim twins, of course, finally met when they were 39 years old. When researchers studied them, they found over a dozen more bizarre similarities. This isn't just a coincidence. This is the universe playing a practical joke on science. Geneticists still study this case because it's that insane. The Titanic prophecy. Here's one that'll give you goosebumps. In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic sank, an author named Morgan Robertson wrote a novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. The book is about a massive British ocean liner called the Titan, the largest ship afloat, deemed unsinkable. It hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic in April and sinks with massive loss of life because there weren't enough lifeboats. Sound familiar? Here are the specifics. The Titan was 800 feet long. The Titanic was 882 feet long. The Titan could hold 3,000 people. The Titanic could hold 3,547. The Titan had 24 lifeboats. The Titanic had 20. Both ships were described as unsinkable. Both hit an iceberg on the starboard side. Both sank in April in the North Atlantic. Both had a top speed of around 24 to 25 knots. Morgan Robertson had never even been on a large ocean liner. He just wrote this 14 years before it happened. When people asked him how he predicted it, he said he didn't know. The words just came to him. After the Titanic actually sank, Robertson tried to publish a new edition of his book, but died mysteriously soon after. The universe doesn't like spoilers, apparently. King Umberto's doppelganger. This one sounds like a comedy sketch, but it's 100% real. In 1900, King Umberto I of Italy went to a restaurant in Monza. The owner came to take his order, and the king literally froze. The restaurant owner looked exactly like him. Same face, same height, same build, like looking in a mirror. They started talking, and here's where it gets ridiculous. The restaurant owner was also named Umberto. He was born on the same day as the king, March 14, 1844, in the same town. He also married a woman named Margherita on the same day the king married his wife, also named Margherita. The restaurant owner opened his restaurant on the same day that King Umberto I was crowned King of Italy. They both had one son, and, you guessed it, both sons were named Vittorio. King Umberto was so fascinated, he invited his doppelganger to an athletic event the next day. That morning, the restaurant owner was shot and killed in a mysterious shooting. Later that day, King Umberto was informed of his double's death. As he was expressing his regret, an anarchist in the crowd shot and killed the king. Same day, both Umbertos dead. The monk who predicted his own death. Let's talk about a guy who broke the laws of probability and possibly time itself. Grigory Rasputin, the Russian mystic, wrote a letter to Tsar Nicholas II in 1916. In this letter, he predicted his own death with disturbing accuracy. He said, "I shall be killed. If I am killed by common assassins, you and your family will rule Russia for hundreds of years. But if I am killed by nobles, no member of your family will remain alive for more than 2 years." 3 months later, Rasputin was murdered by Prince Felix Yusupov and other Russian nobles. They poisoned him, shot him, beat him, and threw him in a frozen river. The autopsy showed he actually drowned, meaning he survived all of that. 20 months after Rasputin's death, the entire Russian royal family was executed by the Bolsheviks. Every single member, Nicholas, his wife, and all 5 children, gone. Rasputin called it down to the detail. He didn't just predict his death, he predicted the fall of the Romanov dynasty. The weirdest part? There are reports that Rasputin predicted the exact date of his death multiple times to different people, and they all match the day he was killed. How? Nobody knows. But it happened. The falling baby. This one is short, sweet, and absolutely ridiculous. In the 1930s in Detroit, a man named Joseph Figlock was walking down the street minding his own business when a baby fell from a 4th-story window and landed on him. Both survived. Crazy, right? Random act of the universe. Except, a year later, the same thing happened. Same man, different baby, same street. Joseph Figlock was just walking, and boom, another baby falls from a window and lands on him. Both survived again. What are the odds? Statisticians have tried to calculate this and basically gave up because it's so absurdly unlikely. After the second time, Figlock supposedly said, "I'm never walking down this street again." Smart man. There's no explanation, no reason why lightning would strike twice, but it did, with babies. The Hoover Dam death dates. Okay, one more before we wrap up, and this one is just eerie. The Hoover Dam, massive engineering project, took 5 years to build in the 1930s. Over 100 workers died during construction. The first man to die during the Hoover Dam project was a surveyor named George Tierney. He drowned in the Colorado River on December 20th, 1922, while doing preliminary surveying work for the dam site. Construction wrapped up in 1935. The last man to die on the project was a worker who fell from one of the intake towers. His name? Patrick Tierney, George Tierney's son. And get this, Patrick died on December 20th, 1935, the same date his father died, 13 years later. To the day, same project, father and son, same date, 13 years apart. The construction company tried to keep this quiet because workers were already superstitious about the dam. Some refused to work on December 20th after that. There's no logical reason for this, no explanation. Just a father and son, connected by the same project and the same impossible date.